Well, how is that for a first game? The New York Rangers, in Peter Laviolette's first game as Rangers head coach, beat the Buffalo Sabres 5-1 in Buffalo. And for all the doubting, and I'm one of them, and thinking maybe they get off to a slow start, new head coach, new system. Boy, did the Rangers look good tonight. This was a very impressive showing from top to bottom, a real 60-minute effort against a Buffalo team that, look, is certainly not the best defensively, but has some of the best young offensive talent in the game. And the Rangers really shut them down. And you could just see the structure. This felt a lot different. And look, it's one game. It's one game. And in fact, last year, Rangers played a pretty good game one versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And obviously there was heavy motivation there with the fact the Lightning had beaten the Rangers in the playoffs the year before. But still, this was good after the preseason was kind of, it didn't look great, but you didn't really know what to make of it. So the Rangers here, jump out to an early lead and never look back. Again, full credit to Peter Laviolette. I think that is the big thing here. And, him and the coaching staff did a really good job. And let's hope this can be a springboard and the Rangers can continue this good play moving forward. So, quickly, just confirming, as I had said in the last episode regarding the opening night roster, Jimmy Vesey was in fact a healthy scratch for the forward group, and I would expect him to be a healthy scratch with the success of this game. Vesey will very likely be a healthy scratch against Columbus. The way that Laviolette was talking, it kind of seemed like it was between him and Bonino, which is interesting, right? Because maybe Pitlick could have been in that conversation, but it seemed like Bonino, or at least that's the way Laviolette made it seem. Maybe that wasn't actually the case, but either way, and on defense, expected Zach Jones was the healthy scratch. So Lafrenière ends up playing on that second line right wing with Hedl centering and Panarin on the left side, and that was a very good line. So we'll start there. We'll start there. Alexis Lafrenière was one of the best players tonight, and what was good was we saw a couple of players who the fans, myself included, you want to see more from. Lafrenière being one of them, and he scores the first goal of the Rangers season at 3:47, scores from Panarin and Hedl. And it felt like there was more of a shoot-first mentality. And that's what you want to see. With Laviolette, and nothing is created equal, but I feel as if, think about the Rangers coaches since the lockout. It's always kind of going from one extreme to the next, where Rennie was more of a hands-off sort of coach, and was maybe too friendly. Then you bring in Torts, who's the absolute opposite. Then you bring in Vigneault, who, again, a bit laid back. And then David Quinn, definitely more hands-on. Then Gerard Gallant, more hands-off. And now Laviolette, more not to the extreme of Tortorella, but more of that, really preaching defense and really preaching structure. And it seemed like they were shooting the puck, on net more. The Rangers had 31 shots on goal tonight. They had shot the Sabres 31-25. I just felt like the Rangers played very well 5-on-5, which on a Gerard Gallant, that was not always the case. So Lafrenière, on a play where Panarin shoots it off the goalie, Devin Levi, and Lafrenière scores right in front. And that's where Alexis Lafrenière gets a lot of his goals, right in front of the net, and give Philip Hedl the other assist. So the Rangers take a 1-0 lead there. Then at 8:14, penalties to Chris Kreider and Jordan Greenway. So it's 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, and nothing comes of that. And then at 12:06, probably a questionable call. Zach Benson is called for hooking Adam Fox. It looked like Fox might have held the stick. Rangers might have caught a break there, and they take advantage of it. It's the one Ranger power play goal of the night. The Rangers went 1 for 4 on the power play, and it's Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider, the first of 2 goals of the night for Kreider, both on the special teams. It's the classic Kreider deflection in front. Just a shot by Fox. Kreider just gets a stick on it. He is really the best in the game at that. It's impressive. And so he's kind of picking up right where he left off in that Devils series. So it's Kreider from Fox and Zibanejad. And the Rangers take a 2-0 lead. A very, very well-played first period. Shots on goal in the first were, let's see here, 12 for the Rangers and 7 for the Sabres. Yeah, 12-7. So a really good first period, even when you look at the shots. So let's go to the second. Second period, I'd say, was mostly good. Jeff Skinner called for an early penalty, tripped Capo. Rangers don't score on the power play. What was good was, the second unit got a chance as well. So the second unit was mostly comprised of Chytil, Lafrenière, Kakko, K'Andre Miller, and Blake Wheeler. But there was a time later in the game where it was Gustafsson and not Wheeler. So interesting that K'Andre is getting the nod. Well, here's the first thing that's good. No Jacob Trouba on the second unit, which I've been asking for forever, which is the right move. But what's also interesting is Erik Gustafsson, doesn't get that automatic chance on the second unit. It was K'Andre Miller, which it's a tough choice. And so look, maybe it gets to the point where a Blake Wheeler gets taken off that second unit. But we'll see. So later in the period, the Rangers score again, and it's the bald man, Artemi Panarin, who shaved his head. We're used to him with the long locks, but he's, I guess, maybe symbolic of a more serious approach. Panarin scores, and Panarin was good tonight. The goal was unassisted, but really Alexis Lafrenière deserves the credit. At the blue line, he makes a play, puts pressure on the Sabres. He creates the turnover. He wasn't rewarded with an assist, but it leaves Panarin in. And Panarin, I almost feel like he caught Levi by surprise. Again, Artemi Panarin has a good shot and should use it more. He does shoot here, wrist shot, and it's in. 3-0 Rangers. Then was the one not-so-good sequence. And it was a little bit of a bad bounce, but J.J. Peterka at 18:30 of the second scores. So it's the only goal that Shesterkin would allow on the night. It cuts it to 3-1. It's assist to Power and Yoki Haru. This was a block shot by Trouba, and Peterka scores. I felt like Blake Wheeler was a little bit too nonchalant, coming back. I'll be one of the few people, I'll throw some criticisms out there. It wasn't overly impressed with Blake Wheeler. I know he doesn't have blazing speed, and I'm sure, look, he doesn't have a huge role on the team, so it's fine. Look, in a third-line role, it should be okay. But I just felt like maybe there could have been a little bit more urgency on the back check. But, that's just him. On the whole, the team was really, really locked in and was very good in the neutral zone. And then, another criticism, 1923, Erik Gustafsson interferes with Zach Benson. Now, I like the Gustafsson addition, and I thought there were some good things, but not a great penalty there. And I thought that, Gustafsson could have been a little bit better. But I still think as a third pair guy, he is one of the better left side third pair defensemen the Rangers had. But I thought maybe not the best night for Gustafsson, but I might be a little bit harsh on my part. But anyway, it's 3-1 going into the third, and the Sabres have that power play to start the third. And the Rangers do kill it off. A lot of block shots by the Rangers. Ryan Lindgren, the guy is just an absolute warrior. Just tons of block shots from Lindgren. Nick Bonino as well with block shots. So, a lot of that, which is a good habit for them to get into. You worry about injuries. You worry about them tiring out. But, hey, that's the right habits to get into for a hockey team. The ones that are willing to sell their body. Those are the ones that usually end up, that's a good attribute to have for a team. And it seemed noticeable. It seemed like, we didn't really see it as much probably the last 2 years, just because of how noticeable it was, specifically on the PK. So it's 3-1 Rangers still. Then the Rangers take a couple of penalties. At 8:51, Filip Chytil he turns the puck over to Zemgus Girgensons and trips him. And then as that the Rangers are doing a good job in the PK. As that one's expiring, Vincent Trocheck trips Peterka. Not a great penalty by Vinny Trocheck, who I felt like last year took some bad penalties as well. So it's 5-on-3 for a little bit. Rangers kill it off, and then Chris Kreider does it again. It's a short end to go for Kreider on a nice effort by Mika Zibanejad. So that duo gets it done there, as we've seen them in recent years do shorthanded. Kreider, his second goal of the night. Zibanejad his second assist tonight, and Keandre Miller gets an assist as well. Mika really made this play happen, and Chris Kreider is just very good at scoring goals. So it makes it 4-1 Rangers, and the Rangers really cruise from there. Let's see here. The Sabres would pull the goalie. You don't always see that down 3, but I don't know, maybe opening night or just, got nothing to lose. And Jacob Trouba scores a goal. One of those in the defensive zone. They win the faceoff. He shoots it down and it goes in. So Trouba scores from Kreider and Zibanejad. So give Kreider 3 points on the night. Give Zibanejad 3 assists on the night. Gives the Rangers a 5-1 lead. Then the Rangers would actually draw a power play. And it's glad that I actually saw this. Okposo roughs Will Cooley. Rangers don't score on this power play as the game expired, but Will Cooley did well. Like a lot of hits, and hoping to see him stick with the team. And he got 12 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time, which isn't that much, but that's okay. I mean, that is, look, he's a third line guy who's probably more, but he might not necessarily get third line minutes, but hey, thought he did well. I think he was credited with 4 hits on the night. And Igor Shesterkin earns his 100th win of his NHL career. I believe he's the 7th fastest goalie, I think was the stat in NHL history to reach 100 wins. Now, obviously, that stat is misleading because, obviously, since the lockout going into the 2005-2006 season, ties were taken away. And so there has to be a win that comes out of games. With that, but that's not meant to discredit. I'm just saying some of the stats are misleading, but Igor wasn't really tested. Good game from him, but he's not really a talking point. And so really, really good game for the Rangers. Again, for me, the 3 guys that really, I guess, kind of stood out were Kreider, Lafrenière, and Panarin. Those were the 3, but other really good contributions as well. So now the Rangers will stay on the road. Their second game will be a road game at the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are coming off of a loss tonight versus the Philadelphia Flyers. So Columbus, it will not be their first home game. It will be their second, as tonight they hosted the Philadelphia Flyers. Columbus, you don't want to take anyone lightly. It's a divisional opponent in Columbus. But the Rangers, if they can play like they did tonight, there should be success that is had versus the Blue Jackets. I would almost definitely expect Igor Shesterkin to be in net for that one. I don't think we'll see Jonathan Quick for a bit, and I think the Rangers' schedule is such that they don't need to. So this was much, much better than I could have ever imagined. It's just one game, and so you don't want to, fans are very excited, and I get it, especially with the, that bad taste in your mouth from the exit last year versus the New Jersey Devils, really hoping for something good. And for me, Yankees, the season was a dud. The Giants, absolute nightmare. So for the Rangers to get off to a good start is good. It gives you something to look forward to. So again, the New York Rangers in Peter Laviolette's New York Ranger head coaching debut go to Buffalo and they win 5-1 on opening night.